How are you today? How is everyone? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Sunday. How are you? How is everyone today? Can you see me? Can you hear me? We are talking about the differences between Uber and Lyft, my friends. The big differences, especially when newbies come on board and they have to sort of pick and choose between the two companies. Feedback is valuable for these individuals, right? So whatever we can contribute today, let this be seen as your testimonial, especially if you have driven for Uber or Lyft, or if you still currently drive for both. There are fine differences. Now, obviously, one of the biggest differences is Lyft is in the United States and Canada, and Uber is in Canada, US, worldwide, right? Pretty much on all continents. That's one big difference. Another huge difference, which you see towards the outside, is their marketing. You know, the bright pink sign, the more conservative black and white sign. Those are just obvious facts, right? But when it comes to differences in the maps, in the navigation, when it comes to differences of customer service, when you reach out for help, do you get the help? We're going to talk about that a little bit. When it comes to the riders themselves, the actual passenger, have you noticed big differences between Uber and Lyft passengers, right? So these are some of the things that we want to get into. I welcome Ram Jam Ram, Lisa, Brian. Let's see who else is in the house. Abstract Echo, San Diego Rideshare Guy, good morning. Thriller Man, how are you? Ogbootsy, he says no one is going to drive a 2020 Camry for Uber or Lyft. I will have to agree with you on that. You just don't go out and buy a brand new car these days for this business, right? Mark Roughton, very good morning to you from Vegas. I'm going to be in Vegas on Wednesday. Anybody wants to get together for a brief hour? I have a meeting there. Desmond, how are you? Tony Slaughter's in the house. John H. from Dallas is in the house. Alamo City, Dan, good morning. Desmond Embrock, wow, Atlanta, we got a wide range of cities in the house, which is good, which is really good for this topic here, especially because we want to highlight differences. I hope that there are numerous drivers in our house right now in this live feed that actually drive for both companies, right? I'm on the SUV Lux platform. One of the big differences that I see is that there's just more, I would say, recruited passengers, riders in my market in LA, right? When it comes to the SUV and Lux categories, I simply have to wait longer before that Lyft Lux trip or that Lyft SUV trip goes off. However, when I do get it, I can't say that there's much of a difference in the riders, right? They both are pretty much paying the same type of fare in Lux, in the SUV black category. So I don't feel a very big difference in riders. I did when I started out with UberX and Lyft Regular, I did notice a difference. I would just say, I don't know, just I found the Lyft passengers more relaxed. Sometimes I'd hop in with shorts, flip-flops, just come straight off the beach. Just a more chill vibe that I got from sort of Lyft Regular clients. Did you feel the same? Barry Andrews in the house. So he says, if you get into an accident with Lyft, you could lose out big time. So would you say that is one of the big differences? That if you were to get in an accident with Uber or an accident with Lyft, he says you would be losing out with Lyft big time. Can you follow that through and say, and this is why, ... right? Because you've given pretty much an open statement. Desmond wants to be on the Team Goat. We're rock and rolling on those fronts to get that out. Like I say, we need more rideshare companies in the market. The more competitive it becomes, the better for us, right? If you have an Uber or Lyft monopoly that are now even talking together, right? Maybe even strategizing together, the driver always loses. So the more competitors you have in the market, the better. That's why I say to Trip, get your act together. They say they're going to be rolling out in Miami in August. We're waiting for you. GOAT team is working on all the specifics, all the programming. Go team, we're waiting on you. The more companies we can get out into the market, I tell you, the better for us, right? Competition is healthy. Competition brings out, apologize for that, competition brings out the best in companies. And I tell you why, because in order, if you have that first pole position and you suddenly have 2 or 3 other drivers in the race, you have to constantly work on yourself to stay in the pole position. So that ups your game. So it is really, really good if companies enter this race. It's healthy. Retro Cootie, I use Uber to play with my money and use it for gas so I can drive for Lyft. I really like that feedback. I really like that feedback. Listen to what he says. I use Uber to play with my money and use it for gas so I can drive for Lyft, and I do not touch my Lyft money until ending of the week. Very interesting strategy you have there, my friend. James Skidmore, how are you? Mike Bastoni, he just said we all should just strike, whether we Uber or Lyft drivers, strike. That's his message. We're talking about the differences here, Mike. Billy O'Neill says, call a ride, just open up in Clearwater, Florida. Not sure how it works. I think it's sort of like Trip. Try it out. Download the app. See if you get passengers. The one thing is with Trip, the big awakening is going to come in August, right? They may have the drivers, but will they have the bookings? Will they get the trips, right? That's going to determine whether Trip drivers will cancel their membership, cancel their credit cards, or actually keep on driving in October, November. I want to see the company succeed. Dak Rom says, Lyft customer service takes forever to get back to you. Uber customer service just doesn't get back to you. Okay, so let's talk about customer service there. I find the Lyft customer service atrocious. I find it awful, right? I find them rather anonymous. With Uber, I figured out how to get through to decision makers. If I call, I don't get much love, I do it again. I ask for a manager. Manager's not available, I'll call back again. Sometimes I have to call 3 or 4 times until I can get a person who can make a decision for me. So I personally find that customer service-wise, both companies suck, completely suck. But if I had to say which company sucks more than the other at customer service, I would say Lyft. I still get things done with Uber, right? From my perspective, I'm comparing the 2 companies. You want some input from myself? I'm going to jump straight back into the room. I should be in Roy Watkins. I should be in Vegas at about 12 noon, right? So anybody wants to text me, I can update you. It depends on traffic, depends when we head out. I have a meeting in Vegas, and then I'm heading up to Zion to go off-roading in the mountains, do some hikes through the Narrows. Really nice few outdoor days in the wild with my kids, right? I owe it to myself, I owe it to them. Back to the differences. Another big difference I see as a guy that refers a lot of drivers, and if you haven't set up your profile on streetteams.com, do it now. There you get the opportunity to promote your codes in your city, do it. So as a big promoter, recruiting drivers, training drivers up, teaching them all the ins and outs, especially newbies, I find that Uber rewards me far better. I find that Lyft has completely abandoned me as far as referrals go. They just make it so impossible for drivers to reach their targets. And if the new drivers can't reach their targets, the referring driver, namely myself, cannot reach their target either. So I put very, very little weight on trying to refer a Lyft driver. I will put the energy and tell the person why it's beneficial to drive with Uber, number 1, and then Lyft as a second. How do you feel about that, right? Mike Bastoni says, no long distance pay for Lyft. Uber has long pickup fee. I agree. Thank you. That's a great clarification right there, Mike Bastoni. He says, no long distance pay for Lyft. Uber has a long pickup fee, right? This guy, Ray from Miami, he has a testimonial. He says, this is the number one question I get from passengers. Ray, a driver from Miami, said, I say whichever one where the passenger actually leaves a tip, right, is his favorite. So this guy, Ray from Miami, this testimonial that I have, he says, hey, whoever goes and on a trip with me and tips me after, right, that's my favorite of the day. So I guess he'll go back and forth. If he gets a good tip from Lyft passenger, he'll enjoy Lyft that day. If he gets a good passenger from an Uber driver, he'll enjoy driving for Uber that day. Who do you find tips better, Lyft passengers or Uber passengers? Honestly, if you just had to think for it for 1 second, who tips better? I would say, obviously, Lyft was way ahead because they had the tipping platform. They educated them from the very beginning. Uber only jumped into the tipping arena very, very late in the game because we put so much pressure on them. As far as tipping goes, gosh, I would almost say, and I'm comparing SUV, Lux, and Black Trips. I would say the Uber driver is a better tipper, right? Mike says I get better tips on Uber. James says I also use Uber to pay, play, and Lyft is paying bills. Very good statement. There's Speed Race says both these companies have me feeling like a bench warmer, all because of one ticket 3 years ago. Sorry to hear that. And Speed Race, you reached out to me. Anyone that has this issue with a ticket or deactivation, don't think it's over, folks. With Uber or Lyft, it's not over, right? What you really have to do is, firstly, get to the DMV. If it has something to do with a driving record, if it has something to do with a ticket, you approach it 2 ways. You try and get to a clerk in a court, and in the traffic court, and try and get a hearing on this, right? Set up a future date. Could be 3-4 weeks out, you have a hearing, and you go and you get a court hearing date, and you go before the judge and say, Your Honor, I have a speeding ticket from 3 years ago. I got deactivated in Uber and Lyft by Uber and Lyft. This is my bread and butter. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay my rent. I rely on these 2 rideshare companies. If I could do anything, any, traffic school, whatever I could do to get that off my record, I would greatly appreciate it, Your Honor. Kiss ass with the judge, kiss ass with the clerk of the court. When you're in the DMV and you check in, we know that in a DMV, it usually takes about an hour, sometimes 2 hours to check in, right? You're driving for Uber and Lyft, you got deactivated, you're in a DMV, you get before a regular customer service there at window 5 or window 10 at the DMV. Here's my scenario. On my record, you will see I have a ticket from 2 years ago. Could you possibly set me up with a meeting with a manager? There is a manager at the DMV. I'd like to discuss if I could get this expunged or if I could do additional work or traffic school, whatever it is. But I'm no longer driving and I rely on that money. I would really greatly appreciate it if you could put me through to your manager. I've seen it happen. I have gotten so many things resolved with managers at the DMV because I was kind to the first person and then said, I really have to. She'll say, hey, the manager's really busy, but if you're willing to wait, so what? I'll wait another hour. But I have that one shot before I get before a manager. I've never been deactivated, but if it's issues about my car, if it's issues about registering a car and they want 2 or 3 years back pay, I might get a $1,200, $1,300 registration fee right down to $200-$300. It was in my approach with the manager. It was in my approach with the customer service. So what I'm saying to you is deactivation is not the end of the road. The other option you have is if you feel that you have been wrongfully terminated by Uber and Lyft, right? They've given you the dumbest, stupidest excuse. I say always force it to small claims court. File your papers, $40, get a third party for another $75 to deliver it to their headquarters up in North California, and then force the issue before mediation or arbitration and say, you know what, mediator or arbitrator, I feel like I was wrongfully terminated, right? And I'll tell you, 8 times out of 10, you're back in the game. So that's just a little tip there to my buddy Speed Racer. We are Ram Jam Rand says, I only drive Uber XL, but compare with my buddies who drive Lyft. General consensus, drivers earn more in Uber, but use Lyft to supplement bookings. Exactly. If you take a classic 5-hour shift, a Friday night shift, or last night, Saturday night shift, and you're driving Uber XL and you have that same vehicle registered in Lyft, statistically over 5 hours, I will guarantee you that the majority of the trips will be Uber, right? But those few additional trips that you get into those 300 minutes of driving, right, combination of waiting and driving, might end up being a few extra Lyft trips, right? So that's what I call that supplemental money, right? That money that should cover your maintenance, should cover your gas, and then those Uber trips in that 5-hour shift should be the money, right? So having both apps on, I think, is crucial. So let me okay that Retro Rudy there. Paul Figueroa, morning. Torsten had good Uber earnings this week in 3 nights, $796, tips 83 in San Diego. Yeah, and Paul sent me his screenshot. Congratulations on that nice trip that he got right from the Mexican border, right up to, I think at LA it was. I think he made about 100, if I can remember, $199 he made in his pocket, plus about, I would say, $30 a tip, right? Made $230. So I guess those numbers are flowing into that $796. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Retro Cootie says, I've got into an accident while on Lyft. I've gotten an accident report and reactivated afterwards. Recommend going to Hub after repairs. Phone support, suck donkey balls. I love that, suck donkey balls. Just walk in, you'll be fine. I don't even, those type of things, I have to 100% agree with Retro Rudy. Why waste your time when you're talking about an accident issue with someone overseas that has no idea what you're talking about? Walk straight into the Hub. You know, it's gonna take me an hour to get to Redondo Beach here in LA. It's gonna take me another 30 minutes to check in. It's gonna take me another hour back. I got to figure out if I have a big issue, it's gonna take me 2.5 hours versus wasting that time on the phone and you getting nowhere, right? There's a guy that has a name, says, I hate you. Yeah, I think that says just everything about, and a pretty wicked little message he wrote here. So I say, I hate you. If you have a gift for someone, right, a toxic gift, this guy has a toxic gift for me, right? And I'm not going to accept his toxic gift. I ask you, I hate you. Whose gift is it? So you still holding on to the hot potato, my friend. Have a wonderful day. There he goes. We don't support those type of people. Goodbye. Let's see. So Success Realizes Dreams. How are you? Welcome into the house. Nice to see you. Let's see. Pretty cool guy. Present rideshare experiences. I like that long title with Lyft. Reactivate for cancellation if I go to the Hub. You know, pretty cool guy. It all depends what issue they deactivated you on, right? How big is this issue, right? So you could get it resolved at a Lyft Hub. You could get that issue resolved at the DMV. You could get that issue resolved in a court, right? But follow through with that sentence, right? Because this and this and this happened. If I know what happened to you, I can help you. But if you come with an open statement, will Lyft reactivate me if I go to the Hub? Well, if you drove over a dog or you drove 180 miles down the highway, or what is the issue? Let's find out if you have a shot at it, right? So follow through, guys. So Bakersfield, James Skidmore says, Bakersfield, this is important for people that want to join up with Uber and Lyft in Bakersfield. He says pretty much 50-50 on both platforms, Uber and Lyft. So no, if you're going out getting a $20 trip, $10 goes their way, $10 comes your way. Paul Figueroa, yes, says, bye, go home to mommy. Exactly, I agree. If you have a title that says, I hate you, you're going nowhere in life. Nowhere. Nowhere whatsoever. Sorry. You don't change that to, let's say, the complete opposite. We have a member in the house. She's not here today, but her name is Love and Light. That's exactly the opposite of that guy. I bet you more people will want to meet her at a party versus the guy that says, I hate you. There we go. So my advice to you, buddy, is change your title. Let's see. Music for Life says, Lyft passengers are much nicer than Uber. Listen to this, folks. Music for Life says, Lyft passengers are much nicer than Uber. Uber passengers are too demanding, trashy, ghetto. That is why I do 95% Lyft and 5% Uber, and 4.93 rated Uber and 5.0 Lyft rating. Avoid Uber passengers if doing both. In which market? In which market are we talking? Music for Life, very important one. So Greg, he has a great strategy. He knows exactly, hey, I'm going to do 95% of my trips with Lyft, 5% with Uber. In which market? That's all I'm interested to find out. That little bit of additional information, right? And when it comes to a nicer passenger, if I'm in LA, gosh, maybe I think the Uber passengers feel a little bit more entitled. Maybe they feel like I owe them more. I feel that the Lyft environment is far more chill. Even when I am getting into a car and I mix it up, I take an Uber, I take a Lyft, I take an Uber. If I get into a Lyft car, I feel that the atmosphere is more chill, right? When I have Uber passengers get into my car in LA, I do feel like they feel a little bit more entitled. It's just my feeling. Joe Matters is from DC. Still waiting for Music for Life. Which market are we talking? Rolf Stark 2 says, oh, Uber only driver here. Noob 3 months, 1,400 rides. Congratulations. That's awesome, buddy. 4.95 rating, 98% acceptance rate. Awesome. Love your show. Every bit of information. Thank you. And I appreciate you, Rolf Stark, for saying that. You're always welcome here. And I hope your Sunday is going amazing. Thank you for that feedback. Tony Slaughter says, hey, Rideshare Professor, is it possible for me to get compensated for a recall if loss of business? Okay. Elaborate a little bit more on that, right? You have a car recall, so there's an issue with what you're saying is you have to take an issue up with a Toyota or with the car manufacturer, or you're going to look at the loss to Uber and Lyft. If you could elaborate a little bit. I would say you don't have a shot at either. Not towards the rideshare company, not towards the auto manufacturer, right? Auto manufacturer simply supplying you the car. They don't care what you're using the car for, private use, business use, right? They're just going to say, hey, there's a recall issue right here. Bring the car in, we'll fix it, right? So are you arguing, hey, I had 1 or 2 days downtime because of a recall. Where can I go for the loss of earnings? I would say in court, slim pickings. You'd have a very, very small chance of succeeding, but maybe worth trying, right? Bart Lawhorn's in the house. San Diego in the house. Texas rideshare guys in the house. What is the projected time frame for launching of GOAT? We're pushing strong so that we can try towards the end of the year, guys. There's a lot that goes into this, right? There's a lot that goes into the funding rounds. There's a lot that goes into the marketing. There's a lot that goes into the programming, right? But we will not be publishing anything on a website coming soon, and dragging people through 2 years. Not going to happen. All I can say is, as far as the funding goes, drivers like you guys, as well as funding by myself, as well as funding from the first angel investor, one of my private clients, we're keeping this thing going and moving forward, right? We do want to present a GOAT model, a GOAT app to the investors and show them, hey, this is why we are different to Uber and Lyft. This is why we believe we will succeed. This is how we improved the all-round rider experience, driver experience through GOAT. This is how this came about, right? It's about real drivers sharing real issues that they're having with companies, about real drivers sharing the treatment they are receiving by Uber and Lyft. Hence, this new GOAT platform was born. And guys, to help push the cause forward, to help get into those discussion rooms, to help get into those polls, please go to and register at streetteams.com with a photo, upload a photo. What is your shirt size? XL. I wear an XL. God forbid, I don't ever want to get to an XXL. But I'm not a medium. I'm not a large. I'm stuck on XL. That's it for years. Shiv DL says, Professor, I have a Tesla S. I need commercial insurance. Which company would you prefer for me for the commercial insurance? I have a video out there in my channel. If you put Rideshare Professor Insurance, you will see it. You'll just have to find the frame. I use an agent out here in Santa Barbara, 805 number, but the company is in New York. Here, so I have another testimonial by a driver. It says, the only reason I give Lyft a slight edge over Uber is because Uber has not updated the map in my region in a long time. This guy, Darren, and he's from Virginia. Anybody from Virginia in the house? So one-way streets have turned into two-way streets, and Uber still has it as a one-way street. Who of you out there today, in today's time, could still complain about mapping, navigation issues with either Uber or Lyft? Who do you think has the advantage? If I listen to this guy, Darren, and read his testimonial, and he's a guy from Virginia, he basically says that Lyft has the upper hand when it comes to the navigation technology in his city. How do you feel about that, right? GPS, Uber has issues. Okay, so Rolf said Uber has GPS issues, which would go and support this guy's statement, right? He also says they have GPS issues. Oh, you want a GOAT driver polo? Okay, cool. Let me take a quick picture of that. Absolutely. Let's get a polo. I'll have the guys knock up a polo. GPC TV in the house. And good morning to you, GPC TV, but not one mention of Geo today, right? This guy is obsessed with Geo. So the fact is, when GPC TV, do you think I don't have a memory like an elephant? I asked you not to mention his name, not to lend any energy, and he didn't at the end. But right at the end, as I'm saying goodbye, he had to stick it in one more time. If you think I didn't catch that, buddy, right? I don't have time for that. When I say no energy spent there, don't slip it in, okay? Don't, my friend. I do not want to give people timeouts, and I do not want to dedicate energy to anything that is irrelevant in this feed, right? This is truly about understanding and hearing from you guys. What are the differences between Uber and Lyft? How can a new driver who's coming in look at a live stream and say, hey, I really like what GPC TV is sharing. I really like what Mike Bastoni is sharing in his city there. I really like what this guy is sharing in Las Vegas, right? Because it'll help them determine which way they go. Joe Matter says, Uber phishing scam hacked my account. There are some really good videos out there that alert you about these scams, folks. Anyone that email or texts you out of the blue and says, hey, send this and this information, Uber and Lyft don't do that, right? So if you're getting a cold call, if you're getting a phishing scam, if you're getting an email that says Uber or Lyft in the thing and you think, oh my God, this is legit, this is them. If you're getting an email with an Uber or Lyft logo and you think, oh my God, this is the company, I got to respond. Here's a good exercise. Hit reply, right? And look at the end it's got to say at uber.com or at lyft.com, right? If they have some bullshit fictitious name that they created at abcdefg.com, ignore it. It's a phishing scam, right? The only way you find out if you're legitimately dealing with the company is if you hit your reply button and the at company.com is legit, right? These people make up fictitious emails. They add, just like they do when the banking scams, they'll have the Chase Bank logo, they'll have the Wells Fargo logo. Guys, be careful. Always hit the reply button and look who you're replying to. See if they're legit. And if possible, even report them. Any random 800, 888, 844 calls, right? You don't get those calls. Uber and Lyft doesn't make them, right? So be super, super careful. Very often these phishing scams or phone scams set up a front. They'll call you here, they'll move you here to the scam. So this part looks legit, and then they want you to respond to the non-legit part, right? So look at it face value, but these companies never call you, right? So I'd say this is what they both have in common, is that these companies would not set you up for a phishing scam or for some sort of fake way of making money. Please always be on the alert, no matter how young you are or how old you are. Don't fall for it, right? So Joe Matters, I do that too. Always instant cash out every day to avoid this. I do that. Never, if you can just pay that 50 extra cents to get your money into your account, do it, guys. I'm exactly the same way. I would never leave the amounts that I have in my account on a Saturday or Sunday after a full week of driving and referrals. I would never leave that in the account. I always transfer it, right? Always transfer it. And I will gladly pay them the 50 cents to avoid those scams. Joe Matters, you're welcome. Let's see. Cool. Mike Bastoni, I cash out every couple of days. Again, it all depends. Listen, if you have $15 in the account, obviously you're not going to cash out and lose 50 cents and keep $14.50, right? Because that ratio to receive the money just doesn't make sense. But if you have $80 to $120, $200 in the account, $300 in account after a Saturday, cash out, right? On $300, 50 cents, you're having $299.50 coming your way, 50 cents going there all day long just to avoid a scam. I'm game for that, right? Okay, so I have another testimonial from a driver that I'd like to read you. Uber has more riders in my area. Listen to that. Uber has more riders in my area. This guy's name is Max. He's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Lyft sometimes adds passengers to my queue without asking. So his two peeves are, hey, Lyft just will add another passenger to my queue, really not asking me, they just do it. Uber has more riders, right? So he's getting more trips. Guess where he's going to be spending more time and energy on? Obviously, Uber. If you listen to that statement, how can you relate it to your market? Retro Cootie says scammers have technology that can change their number to impersonate whoever. If it's easy for us with apps, it's easy for scammers. But remember, Retro, a scammer comes to you. These companies don't come to you. So anyone that's coming to you demanding money, demanding you do something, that's automatically a no-no, right? Unless they have software and they're trying to hack into your account and you go into your account and there's zero, right? Then it's very easy. You contact the company, you take the screenshots, and then they will investigate where that money went to. If it did not go and flow into your account, it flowed into another account that they changed it to, and you'll get your money back, right? I don't think it's too difficult. Dewey Fisher in the house. Hello, brother. Why am I not talking about Dara K anymore? You know, I haven't. He bought an expensive house, and I think he's going like low key. He's keeping. He's hiding somewhere. He's not in the news, but I call him out when I need to. I think maybe I've called him out too much. Maybe he's just too afraid to tell the world new things because we'll just pounce on him like leopards, lions, tigers, right? So I have another testimonial from Michael. He's from Dallas, and this is what he says. Lyft gives you more information about the customer. Listen to this. This is Michael from Dallas. Lyft gives you more information about the customer. I like being able to see how long someone has had an account or how many rides they've taken. It makes me more comfortable. I like that. So what's very important to this guy in Dallas is like, I want to feel comfortable with my rider and the passenger. I want to know as much data as I can on the passenger. Then I feel secure. Then I feel safe. So his preference between Uber and Lyft is the data that he gets from Lyft on that rider passenger, right? Raw data that's shared with him, the driver, and then he can determine, okay, this guy has been there for a long time. This guy has a high rating, etc. I feel comfortable to drive them. I can totally relate to that. I really enjoy this type of feedback, right? So safety, when it comes to the issue of safety between these two companies, how do you feel? Do you feel more comfortable in your market? And if so, please state the city. Are you in Atlanta? Are you in Vegas? Are you in LA? Are you in New York? Are you in Miami? Are you in Denver? Are you in Albuquerque? Are you in the Dakotas? Are you in the Carolinas? Where are you? Hey, I feel more secure with Lyft passengers because I feel more secure with Uber passengers because ... Fred Wall in the house, Atlanta, we welcome you. Must be super hot over there. Here we go. Who's attacking Texas here? Ay, ay, ay. Texas rideshare guy says, I'm making $20 to $30 per hour. Sorry, you can't figure things out. Yeah. Well, that, you know what, that's a good hourly, my friend, and just consistently work on your formula, because whatever you're doing there, Texas rideshare guy, is working for you, and I'm very, very happy. That's awesome, right? You know, on private trips, if honestly, I'll tell you, and I don't want to come across too arrogant, but if I'm making less than $100 an hour on private trips, I'm doing something wrong, right? When was it? Last night, picking up clients in Hidden Hills, picking up clients in Calabasas, taking them to a restaurant in the Commons in Calabasas, waiting on them for an hour. They can have drinks, load them all up, take them down to Mastro's on PCH, maybe 35-minute drive, right? Waiting on them there until they're done, taking them back to the Commons to pick up one car, taking the other person to Hidden Hills to pick up the other car, to go bring them home, taking the other family back to Calabasas to pick up their kid that they dropped off there, then back to the house. A lot of little trips, right? $500 plus tips, right? Another $150 on top of my $500, out with $650 for a few hours work, right? So in between, I can say, okay, they're going to be here for 2 hours now at this place. Can I fit in a quick Uber and Lyft trip, right? If it looks like it's going to be a long, long trip, I can cancel it. But, most of the time I can fit in 1 or 2 Uber or Lyft trips in between those, right? Especially when I've just dropped this private client and his friends down in Mastro's, and I know they're going to be there for 2 to 3 hours, right? Now I have the opportunity to use that downtime. I could read, right? But now I put my hooks out in the ocean. Which fish am I going to catch? An Uber or Lyft driver on the SUV Black platform. Okay, buddy. GPC TV, I said it. You mentioned the name, you're out. There we go, buddy. I warned you 5 times. No fucking around here, my friend. I have no time for that. Bye-bye. So people can't listen. I'm sorry. You have to regulate your room. You have to take control. You got to get respect for people. People disrespect you when you give them some very basic instructions and just tell them to be courteous and nice to each other in our house, right? That's what I like. And 99.9% of the people in this house contribute positive, good energy and suggestions. 1 or 2 always think they have to be a black sheep. Don't have time for that. Sorry. Texas rideshare guy, I took care of it, okay? I have your back there. I got your back. I warned him several times that if a specific person, listen, if you're holding on to a hot potato, every single damn live feed, you're holding on to that hot potato. It's burning you. You're getting upset about an individual. You're getting upset. You're not able to let go of that hot potato, right? How am I going to help you? I can't help you. You got to go and do the work, my friend. You got to figure out, why am I holding on to that hot potato? Why do I like to get triggered? Why do I like to get burnt? Why do I like to get worked up over one individual? Let him go. Let him go. Way easier to work in this energy field where you're not burning yourself. You're welcome. So Jack Lee, what's up, Professor? That's how you put the smack down. I don't have a Smakovich, right? I wish, you know, and do I wish I had a Smakovich? Yeah, but I am not stealing my good friend's Dustin's marketing tool, branding tool. That's his. He owns that 100%. He owns the rights to that Smakovich. But yes, you just got a verbal Smakovich from me. And we try to keep it funny, and we try to keep it real, right? Speed Racer, that's it. Drop it while it's hot. Sometimes you have to give a good old Slapovich. Right? Maybe that's a new name, Slapovich. Okay, I have another testimonial for you. And this is by Aris, A-R-I-S, and he is from New York City. I want to read you his testimonial. Lyft advertises itself as more driver-friendly, but that hasn't been my experience. Listen to that. Lyft advertises itself as being more driver-friendly, but that hasn't been my experience, right? The distance and time to pick up averages double usually, so I stick to Uber. Okay, there it is. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? I have another one for you. This is Horatio, and he's from Orlando, Florida, and he says the only major difference is that Uber has way more calls in my area, right? The only major difference is that Uber has way more calls in my area. Understand that Uber had a head start in this game, obviously capitalized on educating riders and passengers, and the bottom line is in many markets still has way more riders and passengers, right? So if you're looking at pure ratios in some cities, you are statistically going to get more Uber trips over Lyft trips. And that seems to be, I think, the most biggest deciding factor for newbies, whether they're going to start with Uber or Lyft in a certain market. Now, I can tell you in major cities like LA or San Francisco, or whether it's Houston or whether it's New York, the ratio is pretty much 50-50s. But in certain cities, right, they are just more Uber educated, no, not educated drivers. There are more drivers that Uber has recruited, marketed to in a specific market. So in Orlando, if anyone's from Orlando, share your feedback. But this guy says, this is the reason why I'm going with Uber, because there's just more passengers there. Paul Joseph says, I agree, Lyft is not more driver friendly with a higher insurance deductible. Strike one, personal power zones, which are horrible. Strike two, and the longer pickup times, strike three. Thank you for clearly laying it out to us. Strike one, strike two, strike three. Thank you, Paul. Enrique says, I went to Lyft and it was much better. I haven't had any issues with them. Not as busy as Uber, but I prefer it. Okay, so you're preferring the experience with Lyft over Uber, although Uber is a little bit more busier. And he says quality over quantity. LA, SoCal is always busy. Thank you for that great feedback, Enrique. Really valuable feedback, right? I like that statement, quality over quantity, right? If you had the choice, would you want quantity all day long? Could be whoever in your car, or would you rather like less and you'd rather like quality? Great, good question to ask the room, right? Quality over quantity or quantity over quality? Which way do you go? Abstract Echo says Uber deducted $3.25 saying that I picked up the wrong customer on July the 17th, 6:45 p.m. I wasn't even driving at that time. I looked into my app and there was no deduction. What's that all about? Fire back, fire back. Enrique says, Lyft is slower, but I work the morning and afternoon commutes in the busy areas and it works out for me. That's knowing when and where to drive, right? That's working smart, Enrique. George Medeiros, more Uber passengers in South Florida. Yeah, that's what this guy just said here. This Horatio from Orlando. Mark Principe says, also seem to have much more Uber in my area versus Lyft. Okay, another guy. And then what city are you in? That's important. Always like, hey, I have more passengers in my area than Lyft, and I'm in this city. ... and I am in this city, and I am in Albuquerque, or I am in Denver, right? Or I am in Orange County or Riverside, right? World Database says Uber, for one reason, still has the surge, which you say is a big bonus. I like it. I like the surge, right? Why not have the passenger pay more if you're at a concert? Is it worth it for us to go to a concert or a big event and fight it out with those crowds? No, I want to be paid for that, right? If I'm going to go in there and mix it up with hundreds of other cars and take the time to get the passenger out of there and go through all those extra headaches, I want to be paid more, right? Hence, keep the surge, right? Only thing that'll attract me to the Forum, to the Staples Center, to the Hollywood Bowl, right? To the Rose Bowl, to any of those big venues is that surge, right? That ability to capitalize on big crowds coming out at the same time. I don't mind mixing it up and fighting my way out there in that traffic and going through those headaches and having the horns, bop, 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 bop. This guy comes around that side. This guy tries to squeeze in there. This guy's picking up his driver over there. I mean, it's like a shit race, man. I don't mind it. Just boom, 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 get through there, boom, 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 pick up your guy, get out, pay me more, surge. I got in there, I got you out of there, pay me more, right? So I love those big concerts, you know, and I have my little secrets where I position myself at the Forum. I know when to arrive at the Forum. I know when to arrive at Staples Center, where to locate myself at the Staples Center, or where to hide out at the Dodger Stadium, right? Got it down to a science. And by the way, that Uber or Lyft sticker, it gets you in everywhere, right? It gets you in everywhere. You get a lot of free parking benefits from those two stickers. Haven't you found that? So Mark Rowden says Uber 3-1 over Lyft in Vegas. Listen to that, guys. Valuable input from Vegas. Thanks to Mark Rowden. Uber 3-1 over Lyft, right? 75-25 trip ratio right there, right? Impressive. World Database, LA. Mark Principe says Baltimore. Thank you for sharing that feedback. Mike Bastoni says, I got concert tonight. No drivers will be out. Why? Why will drivers not be at that concert? I don't get it. Oh, I see. Okay. I need to explain about the 50-50. I was meaning passengers. Okay. Good. Jose Almeida, thanks for clarifying, James. James Almeida says, yep, I got a 5.5 surge at a concert event. How did you feel about that? Good, right? A few years ago, I was literally killing it at Coachella on the surge, killing it, right? I think I got a Indio, which is where Coachella is, 2 Palm Springs, down the 10. It was a few $100s. Didn't take me long. The surge was off the hook. Uber Eats in the house. Our house in the middle of the street. Our house, that is where ridesharers meet. Our house was a castle and a treat. Jack Lee, help our drivers have some money on food. Slinging Birds is a sandwich place in Sun Valley that gives 50% off to all rideshare drivers. Woo, I like that. Smart idea, Sun Valley. I've ate there, and it's amazing food and really cool people. Wow, I like that, Jack Lee. I might just drop in there. I go to Sun Valley a lot to buy car parts, BMW parts, Chevy parts, Ford parts. I want to read my next testimonial. Rihanna Wilson, welcome to the house. Comic-Con had a weak surge, the highest. $12. Is that all for Comic-Con? They're lazy in Kansas City. So the drivers don't go to a concert, they're lazy there. Uber is far more organized and understands that by helping the drivers, James of Orlando said, it improves the customer experience. How do you feel about that? James from Orlando says Uber is far more organized and understands that by helping the drivers, it improves the customer experience. I have to disagree with you on that one. I have to disagree with you, James. I appreciate your testimonial. I appreciate your input. I cannot say the same in LA. One guy says, Lyft is uncaring and hides behind the internet and email. If I treated my riders that way, the way Lyft has treated me, I would receive a 1-star rating. Lyft is uncaring and hides behind the internet and hides behind emails. If I treated my riders that way, as the way Lyft treated me, I would receive a 1-star rating. Do you feel that Lyft hides behind the internet and hides behind emails and doesn't really come out and help you? Do you feel that they should receive, as this guy says, a 1-star rating for that? Well, firstly, I mentioned maybe halfway through this feed that I think that the customer service of Uber and Lyft is atrocious. It sucks. It truly sucks, right? And I do think that Uber has the upper hand over Lyft on customer service. Do they entirely hide behind the internet and email? I think to a certain extent he's right? I do not like the autoresponders. Even if you receive an autoresponder that you can see they clearly have not read your complaint or your issue, and they just autorespond. Let's respond to this guy, right? You write again, and guess what? You're getting the same reply a second time. At that moment, I call the manager and I say, hey, let me listen. Let me read to you what your guy in the Philippines sent me. Let me read to you what he sent me a second time. Do you notice a difference? No, it's the same crap. Now I need a proper qualified answer from you, dear manager, because I'm not taking autoresponders, multiple autoresponders. I give these guys hell, right? Because, hey, I'm out there making them money. They should be offering me good customer service, not autoresponders. So Mark Robbins says, got to get some sleep so I can drive tonight. Go, dude, go to bed. But by the way, great address to wait for riders is at the corner of Pillow and Blanket Street. Corner of Pillow and Blanket Street. And at the intersection of Mattress. Go and enjoy your sleep. Aloha from Kauai. Woo! Beautiful Hawaii. Don't we love Hawaii? I will. Speed Racer, I will. Journey with Jordan in the house. Brianna Wilson, that requires a gender binarism. California is not about that. Interesting. Ram Jam Ram says, Uber maybe at one point was a great company, but they lost their way. They lost their core mission statement. I have to agree with you on that. So I have another testimonial. This one is from New Jersey. Let me read it to you. There are differences in surge pay. There are differences in surge pay. Differences in drive time per day and their support teams. This girl Jenny says from New Jersey. Uber shadily upcharges business class passengers who take the same trips every week. They have admitted to this and many, many more. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? There are differences in search pay, differences in drive time per day, and in their support teams. Jenny from New Jersey. Uber shadily upcharges business class passengers who take the same trips every week. They've admitted to this, and many, many more. Uber Eats Pro, Rihanna, slippery slope when racist is so casually tossed around. I don't know your color, but what do you do if a pickup cancels and demands a different color driver? No, that shouldn't be about the race. You get who you get, my friend. You get an African-American driver, or you get an international driver, or you get a white driver, or you get an Asian driver. You get what you get, period. There's no color choice here. Whoever started that shit in this channel? Professor, is fair car lease a good deal? They used to be much better, right? But obviously, as they got a following, they want to start seeing more profit margins. So where fair is right now, it used to be very fair. Fair used to be fair. I'm not saying that fair is unfair today, right? It's a great option, but get in with fair for a few months and get out. Get money, get out, so that you can actually go and buy a car, right? A used car. So here's one upset guy from the Bay Area. I'm going to allow this one to go through. There he is, BDG96 Bay Area. I'm going to allow that one to go through. Uber blocked that one. Rideshare 411, happy Sunday to everybody. Have a great day. In and out. Thank you. We appreciate you. Ryan O'Hara, just tuning in. Thoughts on Florida and Lyft 2017 and up vehicles. Yeah, this whole nonsense of them. I mean, imagine you went out there and you just bought yourself a 2016 vehicle, and then they just change those requirements on you. Now, if you were grandfathered in, you're okay, right? But if you've been car shopping and you're like, hey, here's a deal, 2014, and thank God I haven't bought that car yet, because suddenly Lyft comes out and has these 2017 requirements. Now, my budget for a 2014 vehicle is completely out the window, right? Because now I have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars more because Lyft wants a 2017 vehicle. What was Lyft's thinking there? They must have tried to shut back on that market. They must have tried to say, okay, maybe we have too much. Maybe we're going to up the quality of the vehicle and just shut out a lot of the older vehicles. I don't know what their thinking was there when they switched to 2017 models. Doesn't make any sense to me. Sal, if Somerset County in New Jersey, I have 3 times Uber riders and Lyft. Thank you. That's good, valuable information for any newbie, right? In Somerset County, New Jersey, 3 times Uber riders than Lyft, right? If you're a newbie, you're thinking of joining in that area, that's the type of information you want to look at. Journey with Jordan, no color choice, no gender choice, keep it random. 100% correct. Texas Rideshare guy says, I think the 2017 clause is for new drivers. Yes, it is for new drivers. But let's say you are a new driver and you were about to join and you had budgeted for a 2014 vehicle and suddenly they change the requirement. You still haven't bought the car yet, but you saved up that money for a 2014 vehicle and bam, they hit you with this 2017 requirement. Now my old budget is completely out of the window. I might have to go back into a rental car for a few more months or a year before I can afford that 2017. See what I'm trying to say? If you grandfathered in here with a 2015, 2016, you're fine, right? But obviously there was some reasoning why Lyft changed to 2017 vehicles. I just think it's very, very unfair for anyone that was trying to save up and get into that market. That one I can't let go through. So you have a 2016 and you're obviously locked in with the 2016, right? You're fine. Of course, if you want to add another vehicle, right? Second vehicle, but if you have an existing vehicle 2016, I think you're fine. It's if you want to add another vehicle to the mix, got to be 2017. Jack Lee, speaking of 2017 vehicles, I work at an Infinity dealership. I currently have 7 more 2017 brand new, never driven vehicles, selling them selling for used car price, super, super good. Go to him. Go to Jack Lee. Where is the dealership? Give the dealership a shout out. What zip code? What city, my friend? What's the name of the dealership? Share with us so we can send some people your way. Yes, existing vehicles already in your account are grandfathered in. That's what I just said. Correct. Thanks for that clarification. Rihanna says, safety is a priority, right? How do you suggest it gets handled? We aren't allowed to have weapons. There are different laws on dash cams. Well, when it comes to the issue of safety, right, we all agree that Uber and Lyft could easily spend another $50 or $100 million there improving the game, improving the app, right? You have to take care of yourself, knowing your state laws. I have my dash cam on board. I have my pepper spray and a couple of other things hidden in my car, right? But if I see trouble coming my way, I'm not going to provoke the trouble. I'm going to get out and make the necessary phone calls, right? And I also think it's very, very important where you allow your passenger to seat themselves in the back seat. I have another testimonial I want to share. This one is also from New Jersey. This is from a driver called Tim. Thank you for sharing. Lyft riders in my area are like Walmart shoppers, whereas the Uber riders are like Macy's shoppers. Tim from New Jersey said. Listen to that. Lyft riders in my area are like Walmart shoppers, whereas the Uber riders are like Macy's shoppers. So he's trying to make a very distinct clarification that these passengers are just not the same. The one acts like a Walmart crowd, the other maybe more as a sophisticated, snotty Macy's crowd, right? How do you feel about that? How would you classify them in your city? Texas Rideshare guy says, wow, I missed that by a few months. I bought my 2016 Lincoln in March. Journey with Jordan says, your car, your rules. I agree with that. Uber isn't searching your vehicle for weapons every time before you go online. In fact, they encourage pepper spray and tasers. I agree with that. World Database says, no class for Lyft passengers. World Database says, most of them are cheap asses. Journey with Jordan says, Lyft's like Dunkin' Donuts, Uber is like Starbucks. I like that. I like that comparison. But again, I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge Lyft riders, and I'm not judging Uber riders. What I'm trying to get at is the feedback that you guys are giving is gold, is just golden standard for any newbie. Any newbie that comes into this room should read through these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And Journey with Jordan, it's always important to state, Lyft is like Dunkin' Donuts and Uber is like Starbucks in Los Angeles or in Miami. James Campbell says, Pittsburgh has a more respectable crowd on Uber as opposed to Lyft. That's valuable information. That's his opinion, by the way. It doesn't have to be everybody's opinion. That's James's opinion, that Pittsburgh has a more respectable crowd on Uber as opposed to Lyft, right? Harold's in the house. How are you? Chris Blank's in the house. We welcome 2 new people. Everybody, let's welcome them. Harold and Chris just walked through the door into our house. We have a nice buffet set up there. Sit down, enjoy yourselves, have a coffee, have a drink, have a cold glass of water, whatever you want. You're in our house, have fun. Rihanna. Abstract Echo, we welcome you, folks. Yes, we do. Desmond Nemrak says, Atlanta surges had disappeared. That's not good. I mean, if you're talking at the most busiest concert arenas or sports arenas in Atlanta, you're taking the surges away. Have you also maybe, as the company, noticed that maybe the drivers don't want to go there anymore? Taking the surge away in certain markets, I think, is just the dumbest thing. Supply and demand, folks, regulates the price. So we read you a lot of testimonials by Uber and Lyft drivers showing the biggest differences between these two companies, right? Jack Lee says, you may call me directly. Thank you, Professor. God bless. Thank you, my friend, for giving a shout out and allowing me to inform our drivers' problems. You're welcome. There's your there's your phone number, 818, and it's Infinity of Oxnard. Reach out to the gentleman. He's really give us some valuable input there. So go and support him. If you're in that area, in Oxnard, I might even go by there. I mean, I'm up in Santa Barbara once in a while. I'm up in the wine country in Napa, Sonoma, Los Olivos, Santa Ynez. I go up there, I have clients up there. I might drop into Oxnard on the way up and check in with Jack Lee. So Texas Rideshare Guy says, Ryan O'Hara, last year I couldn't drive for Lyft due to age of my car back then, but then they changed the age restrictions so that I could drive. So my guess is temporary. I think a lot of the stuff with Uber and Lyft is temporary. So Journey with Jordan says, last night I got a ride to a very exclusive location hosting a big money wedding. Every limo company in town was there, Escalades and executive shuttles. Didn't get a tip, of course. Sorry to hear that. Payman Ali is in the house. I agree with Texas. Really have problems with passengers on either platform. Very cool. Happy to hear that. Rihanna says, the issues mostly happen at night. Most of my riders I have had no issues with. Drivers for 3 years. That's good. Harold Kime says, I do 80% rides for Uber, 20% for Lyft. In which market, Harold? In which city? Always good to know. In which city? Another good input from Harold says, he says, insurance too high for Lyft. In which city? How do I feel about music? I think music is such an important issue for a rideshare trip. Of course, if they want the comfort quiet mode, they're not going to get the music. But having a portfolio of music, giving them the option on Sirius XM, hey, what do you want to listen? I can gauge this guy's in his 40s, so 80s music might, or in his 60s. Hey, do you want to listen to some rock and roll? Do you want to listen to the Beatles channel? Do you want to listen to the 80s, 90s channel? Do you want to listen to hip hop? Do you want to listen to disco? A couple of techno guys in the house. Hey, play some BPM, beats per minute, high BPMs, right? You got to gauge who you have in the car. Nailing it on music, I think, can often bring you money. Hey, by the way, cool music, DJ. Thank you. Or hey, who wants to be the DJ? That's what I do. And I have a whole big group of 20-year-olds or teenagers over 18. Hey, who wants to be the DJ? Either auxiliary Claude or let's sync up your Bluetooth to my system. Let them be the DJ. It's off my hands, right? So music is a key factor, I think, giving them control and getting this in return, tips. Kelly Castillo, New York City in the house. We're talking about the differences of Uber and Lyft. Please do share your feedback, Kelly. So Desmond Ambrock says, quiet mode, confusing because they start talking to you after asking for quiet. I've been there, right? They've chosen quiet mode and then they want to start the conversation. What's that about? What is that about? You put us in shut up and drive mode and then you start talking and then you want us to talk back to you? If the guy asks me a question directly, I'm going to respond. Right? Nobody tells me to shut up and drive. But okay, that's what you want. I will completely ignore you, get you from A to B, not really expecting any tips or anything like that, because you didn't have a chance to get to know me. You didn't have a chance to experience Torsten. You never got a chance to network with Torsten. That's your bad luck, buddy. It's your loss, not my loss. If he puts me in the shut up and drive mode, I will tell you 10 times out of 10, it's his or her loss. It's not my loss. Desmond Ambrack says, in Atlanta, in both Uber and Lyft, you get paid for distance, not a lot on time. Oh, I guess that's for most markets, right? You get paid on the distance. The time factor is atrocious, horrible. That's why pit stops here or there. Hey, let's just stop here. Let's wait for these guys to get ready. They can join us. We're going to this party. Oh my God, I just sat here for 20 minutes. I'm not really getting paid for it, but how it's difficult to convey that to the rider. Hey, let's rock and roll, guys. It's a long night. We've got to get going. Right? You don't want these to drag their feet. Oh, let's just wait on them. Let's go inside for a drink. No, it's your time, your money, right? You want to be paid for that, right? Oh, Harold Kimes, problem of people wanting to vape. Guys, if you want to vape, I'll do a vape stop. We get out, you do your vape stop, and we continue. I will not let the people have a vape in the car, period. My car, my rules. Don't like it. I've had some people, big anger out. Oh, who the hell are you to tell me I'm not allowed to vape in your car? It's my car, buddy. You're my guest, right? I'll kick you out of my party, right? That's it. Right then, if that guy confronts me with that energy, he's out. I end the trip. Especially with these youngsters, 21, 22, vape, they try to vape in the car. Buddy, you can't see the sticker on the car. There's no vape. I'll stop for you. And the guy gets attitude. I've had that in Hollywood, giving me attitude. Who said, I'm going to vape in your car? No, you're not. Here's the phone. I'll end the trip. Either you respect me and my rules, you get out, you vape, or I end the trip. It's very, very simple. Very clear lines. There's a sticker in my car that says no smoking, no vaping. You get it? And if he still wants to give me shit attitude, I'll say, here we go. We're done. We're done, guys. Thank you. We end it. And usually the other 4 people are pissed at that one guy because he effed it up for all of them. But I have literally kicked 5 people out of the car because the guy gets into a vape argument. It's happened. For real. And no matter how aggressive you want to get as a bunch of 21-year-olds, bring it. Ready. Rihanna, some people try to argue with me and they say that vaping isn't as bad as cigarettes. Guys, the long-term effects on vaping are not in yet. On cigarettes, there's just too much data. On cigarettes, you have cups and cups of tar forming in your lungs, right? It's a proven, given statistic. On vapes, it is proven that, I'll have doctors confirm that with you, they call it popcorn lungs. It shoots tiny little holes into the inner linings of the lungs. They call it popcorn lungs. They say that vaping is more dangerous than smoking. And then the other day, my buddy, we just went on a trip. We were looking at a warehouse. I was looking for another drop ship location for my detox and beauty supplies, which I create in Italy, in South Italy, and I ship them over to the United States. I ship a lot of my products to Amazon. They sell them on Amazon. And then I also drop ship from different locations. So I was looking at a warehouse, and we got to this warehouse, and the guy wanted to sell us all his racks, his racking systems. He wanted to have us take over his lease for his warehouse. So we're doing the numbers. And then I'm like, what were you doing before, right? Because there's boxes and boxes of vapes, right? He says, they are moving their location. They have another location that they do about $100,000 a day, right? $3 million a month. They're one of the top vaping. They sell vapors and the refills, these guys that we were buying the racks from and the location, the warehouse. I'm like, what? $100,000 a day on vaping products. James Campbell in the house. Thank you for the 5. I high five you for the 5. Thank you, my friend. Why is it that Lyft has so many Lyft ambassadors and social media agents and moderators, but they can't expedite background deactivation or appeals? That's a good question. That's a good question. I know some people at middle management at Lyft, and I would actually send over that question to them because that's a completely legit question, right? They have all these ambassadors, they have all these social media agents and moderators, but they can't expedite background deactivation or appeals. Okay, maybe they're not motivated, maybe they're not paid enough for that. Maybe they need to change the company that's doing the background checks, right? Maybe they need to change the company or the workforce that does their appeals. But I hear you loud and clear, James. Proud of you, Texas rideshare guy, for having not touched a cigarette in 20 years. And what they say is, like with heavy smokers that come off, just like with any drug, if you're detoxing, you're coming off, right? When your lungs are starting to repair itself, right? A lot of the capillaries, there's like a lot of coughing, a lot of phlegm, you're detoxing, you're getting it all out, right? After you go cold turkey, the repair period, the lungs have to repair. So if you haven't touched a cigarette for 20 years, he more likely has his full capacity back of his lungs. He's done some damage in the past, but you could say that having touched cigarettes for 20 years, you truly have your, I would say 90% of your lungs back. Congratulations. James Campbell says, my brother was deactivated twice for a total of 10 months because of Lyft blatantly not giving a crap. I would not wait around for 10 months, James. I march a small claims thing for wrongful determination the next day. Force the issue within a week, right? Because the hearing is going to come up in 2 weeks. Generally speaking, a small claims court hearing is in 2 weeks. Why wait around for 10 months? I would literally sue them for the entire 10 months of earnings that I would lose, showing them on average, I made this per day, this per month, this over 10 months. This is what I want from you. This is what you owe me, right? In that case, if it's over $10,000, it's not small claims anymore. Then you take it to the superior court, right? $10,000 to $25,000 or more, right? You cannot go according to their drumbeat. You have to create your own drumbeat and take control, right? They're just too big and they don't care. They've got too many drivers. You've got to take the issue to them. The rideshare rush. Live chat friends got deactivated from Uber for a false report and was able to prove it was a false report and got back. I love that. See, these are the stories I love. I was able to prove with my evidence that it was a false report and I got back. And the question is that I have for rideshare rush, how long did they keep you out of the rideshare business? What did you actually lose, right? I would ask for that money back. Uber Eats process, Texas, I'm with you. I'm almost 30 years clean. Another one. Congratulations. Awesome. Success Realizes Dreams says, seems like most insurance companies won't cover vape exploding, blowing off their jaw in your car while ride sharing. Whoa, never had that happen. Tito Lugo's in the house. Welcome. Harold Kimes, thank you, my friend. I like that. Cool. Yes, you are. Cool. Too cool. $2 cool. Where did that get that little cool little icon from? A little headband there. That looks like one fit little pear. Or is that a potato? I like it. I like it. I like it like that. So we are discussing today core differences between Uber and Lyft. The good thing is we've had so much feedback from different cities, Vegas, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, New York, where people are giving newbies that are coming into the business real good information. City Ambassador Friday, yeah. Smash the like button. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like. I like it like that. Dun, 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 dun. I like it like that. Depending on the markets, folks, depending on the markets, right? There are major differences in maps, navigation issues. customer service issues between these two companies, between the ride. Many people have reported that there are issues between the riders. Some will say, well, they're like Starbucks riders. The others will say they're like Dunkin' Donut riders or Walmart riders or Macy riders. So we've had a lot of feedback like about riders, insurance, navigation issues, tipping issues. Jack Lee, thank you. Guys, head up Jack Lee, $4.99. Thank you. Hit him up. He's an Oxnard, Infinity of Oxnard. He left his number there. If you scroll back, guys, ever need a car like that, he's going to give you a fantastic deal on an Infinity. Thank you, Jack Lee. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. There it is. Infinity Oxnard. Jack Lee in the house. Great cars. Great cars. Great, great cars. That XL car that fits the 7. Which one would you say, Jack Lee, for the newbies, which Infinity would you suggest for the XL? A car that can take comfortably 7 people. Which one? Just off the bat, which car is it? David Price, I use port and flight apps for efficiency doing what? If you could just follow through. Liberty Murph, what is the great dash cam to buy from Amazon that is good quality? I would say the Vantrue Pro 2 or the Vava, VAVA, one of those two. I'm a big Vantrue N2 Pro and a big Vava. Vava, you can adjust the swivel, the 360. Vantrue has front and back filming at the same time, which you will see in the price. The one's about 200, the other one's about 125. Push and Wait says, Lyft is my sidekick, Uber is my main squeeze. I like that. Again, push and wait. In which market? Lyft is my side check. Uber is my main squeeze. In which market? Hey, Liberty Murph, Vantrue or Vava? If you can afford the extra money, I would go for a Vantrue because you're filming front and back. If you looking at budget and you want the best camera within a like $120, I think I even have a code under one of my videos, so you can get a really, really good, go to my Vantrue video and use my code. You actually get a great, great discount, right? I think you might even pick it up for 90 or $100 with the discount. So that's really good value for money. But if you want to go all out, like you don't really care about the price, top notch quality, then you're going Vantrue. James Campbell says Uber needs to let people pick up in outside cities. I agree with it. At least for 24 hours since we make nothing on the drive home. I'm with you on that. Harold Kime says Fayetteville, Arkansas market. Good. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you for sharing that. Felix Diaz in the house. Uber only 12K trips. Whoop, whoop. Felix, why didn't you ever do Lyft? Did you try it and let it go? Or did you just say, hey, I'm so happy with Uber, I'm going to stick to Uber? The one thing I can tell you, Felix, you have a car, you have a registration, you have a driver's license. Use it as a backup. You never know. Maybe on 12,500 trips, for some stupid reason they deactivate. You've always got Lyft to fall back on. Always be on both platforms, my friends. David Price's Cruise Mapper and Flight Radar. Thank you for sharing with us. Let me know when to be at a port or airport. I like that, guys. See that good information he shared there with you? He uses those apps, Cruise Mapper and Flight Radar. Oh, Felix Diaz deactivated on Lyft. I hear you. Did you try and get back on Lyft? Reggae Me, both Uber and Lyft is slow in Orlando, Florida right now. Yeah, I wonder one of the things I would guess is because if you start demanding 2017 vehicles, not everybody can afford that, right? Not everybody can afford that. Salif says, regarding music, I play instrumental or spa music, have had a lot of compliments. Yeah, you're setting a spa tone. Add eucalyptus or peppermint oil to that. Guys feel like they're in a spa. Success realizes dreams. 360-degree cameras are great for rideshare. Captures inside and outside of the vehicle. Yeah. The Vava is great. VAVA. Check it out. So true, so true, so true. Success realizes dreams says, how much is your safety worth? We should not put any cap on safety, right? So spend the money on safety, spend the money on a good dash cam, spend the money on a couple of little peripherals in your car that will increase the safety. A good police-issued pepper spray, I think, is a must. Payment Ali deactivation should be first reviewed by a jury representing both riders and drivers. Way too much money, way too much time. Payment Ali. The process, they could better the process, but the process that you are suggesting, it would definitely be fair. Your suggestion would be fair, but it would cost too much money. Two-way camera, Van True. Jack Lee, God bless you, thank you, and help you. Help so much. Time for people to start raining. Platform and helping everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it, Jack Lee. Thank you for your good input. So we are talking about differences between these two, guys. We're talking about differences between these two. Do share, do share. Wow, this is so cool. Got a little photo here. Really cute photo. Found a cool photo. A phone support jury of 12 of Uber's specialized team members. Damn, you think they're going to do all of that for you for a deactivation? No. Liberty Murph says, Sabre red pepper gel spray. Does it work? I used pepper spray once in South Africa. It worked. Two guys were beating up a woman. They were fighting over a woman. Could not believe what I was watching at 4 a.m. in the morning. I could not believe what I was watching. Two guys fighting over a woman, hurting her and hurting each other. Unloaded the entire pepper spray on the two guys. They were falling around like little babies into the street, off the pavement. Other people then, thank God, pulled the lady away. She was pretty beaten up. And then these two guys got put in a cop car. But I always thank my police-issued pepper spray for that night, 4 a.m. in the morning. Crazy shit happens. Harold Kime says, Lyft 20%, Uber 80% in Fayetteville, Arkansas. That ratio works well for you. That's awesome. That is pretty much my ratio, 80-20, 80 Uber, 20 Lyft for black SUV and Lux in LA, right? That's when I'm driving on those two platforms. But as you guys know, I always call for a healthy mix between Uber, Lyft, and what is it? Private trips. Start building out your private trips. Start somewhere, getting your first private client. Keep them happy, get them happy. They will refer you your second client. And now I'm just being passed on from family to family to family to businessman to businessman. 4 or 5 NBA players and their families, their kids right now. 4 or 5 NBA players. Loving it. Getting free tickets, getting concert tickets, getting NBA tickets, all of these perks in the private sector. I don't get those same perks with Uber and Lyft. I don't make the same money with Uber and Lyft as I do with privates. But I found a healthy mix, 70-30 ratio, 70 private, 30% here, or 60 private, 40% here. And then of that 30 or 40%, it's 80%, 20%. You see, that's the formula that I worked out that's best for me, that makes me the most money. James Campbell says, I witnessed a domestic assault on a 1-letter named rider account, called 911, then called Uber to tell them that I called 911. Good for you. Abstract Echo says, Ford Motor Company used to have an appeals board made up of volunteers to contest warranty denial claims. Very interesting. Very interesting. Never knew that. Mario Gerussis shares with us, Houston. Used to live there on Bering, right next to the Galleria. Houston, 80% Uber, 20% Lyft. Thank you for sharing, Mario. That's good feedback. Any Uber or Lyft newbie coming into the house for thinking of joining in Houston, he's just laid it out there right there for you. 80% Uber, 20% Lyft. And he's on both, right? That's what makes up his 100%. Now, onstreetteams.com, if you have not created your profile, please do, because you can network, you can promote your codes. What I say to people, if you are from Houston, like this gentleman right now sharing this good input with us, Mario. I don't know if Mario's on Street Teams, right? Set up your profile on Street Teams, put your Houston code out there. Who knows, a 2 or 3 months time they found your Street Teams profile because it's in the search engine, and then they look across Houston and they come across Mario and they find his code and they sign up there, and boom, the gentleman's just made himself $200 out of the blue, right? There's nothing better than waking up, having your coffee, refreshing your screen, and seeing your referrals come in. I love it. I make a lot of money on referrals, but I give back a lot, right? I have to literally train Uber and Lyft drivers, right, for a while, like literally support them through their first 5-20 trips until they've completely understood when and where to drive, how to do their shifts, how to maximize their earnings from Monday to Sunday, right? And when you're peaking out and you saturated, we all know what it takes today in our day or in our week, Monday to Sunday, to reach our peak, right? We know, we figured it out, right? Through a lot of trial and error, through a lot of educational dollars that we had to pay, right, to get there, to understand that formula. Rolf Stark, I'm going to okay that message. James, what does he say? The weird thing is that taxis are shit. Okay. Joao Madeiros in the house. Hello from Boston, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Madeiros over there in Boston. Great. Haven't seen a Boston today in the house. Liberty Murph. Journey with Jordan, this is his opinion, right? He says that Lyft riders are just looking for the bottom of the barrel cheapest rides possible. Again, in which market, Journey with Jordan? Share with us, in which market? Harold Kime says, good ratings always with Lyft riders, right? So you find that Lyft riders are more generous in their ratings than Uber drivers? Is that what you're trying to say, Harold? Interesting fact. Felix Diaz, I'm with you there. Can't wait, pushing it forward. Arizona, Scottsdale, yeah. Used to have a house in Scottsdale, in Arrowhead, right there. Got a very hot girlfriend in Scottsdale as well. Good reason for me to go back to Scottsdale, back in the time. Nashville's in the house. That's Journey. Thank you for sharing. Sal F says, both platforms need to make their policies clear about giving no rides to minors. I've turned down far too many minors looking for a ride on someone else's account. One warning, then deactivate account. So they'll put it in their lingo, they'll put it in the legal wording that they don't accept minors, but guess what? They are very, very well aware that so many mothers and fathers are pushing minors through both platforms, period. Uber and Lyft know that. But it's like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Pretend like it doesn't happen. But we'll take the money, right? Their follow through, their checkup mechanism on that is pretty bad. And I say to you, with the facial recognition, right? Child gets into the car, wants to take the trip. Okay, let's do a quick facial recognition. They can see it's not the mother or the father's account. They can see it's a little 13 or 14-year-old. Right there and then that trip should end, right? Facial recognition could take care of so many of these minor issues. Why do we as drivers periodically have to check in with facial recognition, right? Why can't, think about that, why can't the passenger, the rider, every second trip be prompted to do facial recognition? If they can see it's a little kiddo, little 13, 14-year-old, and it's not the mother who created the account because they have her picture on file, they have their dad's picture on file, and it's not them, it's a little 13-year-old, boom, off the platform, trip not granted. Again, these double standards between these companies, Uber and Lyft. Facial recognition for drivers, where's that facial recognition for passengers? Mario Jerussi says, Night Riders giving bad ratings, but I'm still 4.98 on Uber. That's great. That's a fantastic score. At nighttime riders, alcohol, craziness, alcohol brings out the anger, alcohol brings out the problems. Oh, screw this, I'm going to give him a lowest 2-star rating because he's not doing exactly as my drunk ass told him to do, right? More aggression, more retaliation, more getting back at the driver at night, right? But it can also go the other way. If you're so drunk and you're so happy and you're so high, yo, give you $100 tip, man. I've seen it all. Seen it all. Replying to my kid. I have one guy from a 228 number who is relentlessly texting me day in, day out. He just texts me everything. Every little occurrence in his life. Somebody says, I think someone needs a timeout. He did get a timeout. So, let me just say.
Hey, Tortoise.
I'm live streaming. If you can just, I'm live. So Harold Kimes, more tolerable. Additionally, they need to, what did he say? But thank you for calling me that, Laura. Let's see. This guy's promoting his Uber code in the live channel. Ouch, Felix, you know you can't do that, right? Oh, dude. In my channel, you're promoting your codes. Ouch. Let's see. Is something going to go flying across the screen as a screaming lady enters the live stream? No, that was just Laura. She entered the live stream. It's all good. My girlfriend entered the house. She just got back from the gym. She's funny. She's trying to distract me, guys, so that I lose control of my live stream. Stephen Willis, I received a notification of potential customer service abuse. I've had many problems on Uber Eats when either the restaurant or the customer had issues, totally following their protocol. Screenshots, screenshots, screenshots. If you need, make a video. Proof, proof, proof. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Uber Eats is a great hustle for free food. I wouldn't do that for the free food. I mean, if you're getting free food every day, guess what you're going to look like 3 months later? Okay, guys, we're going to be winding this down. We are coming to the 1 hour 40 mark. I think we've had so many good contributions on differences between Uber and Lyft. So new people watching this video can go through all of your posts and see some clear differences between these two companies. And the good thing is you've highlighted in which market, in which city. That I appreciate. That type of feedback is what I appreciate, right? So Stephen Willis says, I got screenshots. I'm Dallas, Fort Worth. Send them on over. You have my number. My number is always, my email, my number is always underneath the videos, guys. And I appreciate a lot of those screenshots because I get to, remember, I print them out, right? And I periodically send them up to these guys showing, hey, 60-40, 50-50. Ed says, Ed from Seatown, only drive during the day. Thank you, Professor. Great job. Thank you for being part of our house, Ed. I appreciate you here. Always good to see your name pop up on the screen. Shirl Herbert says, don't like the 10-minute wait for comfort rides. Have to agree with you on that one. Right? They think they have all the time in the world to get ready. Let them wait. Let the driver wait. Not cool. God forbid they wait more than 10 minutes and then there's a fee and then they throw a tantrum, right? Palm trees. Okay, guys, I need 50 thumbs up. I'm out of here. Got a lot to do. It's Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. How long will this sing this song? Yo, we've got Journey with Jordan racing ahead. We've got Speed Racer following up with thumbs up, thumbs up. Everybody thumbs up, thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 21, 22, 23, 45, 37, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, 43. We need another. Let's give us another 10. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mr. Baderos. Chris Blanks, thank you, guys. Nice. Let me take a picture. Let's set the frequency for the Sunday. Hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. This is a nice picture. Got palm trees. Woo! Whoa, this is good. This is high energy here, my friends. Look at that. That's you guys. Look at that. Look at that. That is the tone for Monday and the next week. Wow. Love you guys. Brian, thank you. Payman, thank you. Uber Eats Pro, thank you. Mark, thank you. Lisa, thank you. Robert, Sao Chow, hope I pronounced it right. Thank you. Chris, thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you for sticking in there. Go out there, have some fun. Go out on a hike. Take your dog for a walk. Take your kids to the movies. Go out there, make money. Jump in the car, switch the app on, whatever you're doing today on the Sunday. I hope it's a great one. And then may your Monday be off to a fantastic start. Thank you, and thank you again. Appreciate you guys.